Welcome to another episode of Foster's Bees. Today I have 2 or 3 main objectives and goals. The first is to take care of the ant problem, and I brought some cinnamon. If you look very closely, you may be able to see some of the ants crawling around on the ground here. So my intent is to sprinkle some cinnamon around the hive stand here in an effort to get rid of the ants, at least chase them away. My second objective is to try to get a additional brood box on top of the hive. As of my previous inspection, I had close to 8 frames of drawn comb, or at least partially drawn comb, and that was about a week ago. So from what I've understood and read and talked to some people, once you get to 8 frames in a 10 frame box, that's usually the time to go ahead and add another brood box or a super, whatever the case may be. So those are the 2 main objectives today. I also have an additional objective to put some kind of a shade over on this side of the hive here in an effort to keep some of the sun and heat off of it, depending on what the inside looks like and how they've been drawing out the frames on this side here. So let's take a little closer look at the entrance here. Regular old Costco ground cinnamon. Now, I haven't ever done this before, and my understanding is you just sprinkle it out on the ground. So we'll see how this works. We'll see if that does what I hope it does. Alright, so just casually looking here, looks like we got comb being drawn out here, which was one of the frames that didn't have any comb drawn out on it. And this frame is starting to get some comb drawn out on it too. So that's encouraging. Those are the 2 that did not have any comb on them. Let's see what they've done. We have half of a frame of comb. It's a big ball of bees there. I'm just checking to make sure that we don't have a queen underneath all of that. This side is mostly drawn out here. That's good. capped brood there. More of the same here. Looks like we may have a drone cell here that they tried to draw over here. Still not seeing the queen here. Me and my inexperience, I'm taking a little bit more time here in the hopes that I can identify the queen and make sure that she's here in the hive. It's not essential that I do that, but I like to know because it can impact or it does impact the overall health of the hive. There's the queen. Right in here. So I know we're queen right. And one of the things I was a little worried about was with this warmer weather and not having put the super on soon enough, I was wondering if the bees may outgrow the single brood box and decide to swarm on me. It does not appear to me that this has happened, which is a relief. This queen cup here does not appear to be drawn out, or at least filled. That one is still empty. We'll check on the other queen cup in a second. Quite a bit of honey on this frame. You can see a lot of this here is all honey, capped honey, down in here too. Got capped honey along the top of the frame and some capped brood in the middle here. Now, this frame, was this the one with that other queen cup? I don't see it. Nope. Must be the next one. Well, not this one either. This one they're starting to draw out. Well, that's a good sign. Here. And here. Not much, but some. This was one of the ones that didn't have anything on it, and here you can see capped honey and uncapped honey. Nothing on this side still. More honey in this comb here, and this side as well. A little bit of brood there that hasn't hatched out yet. It looks like they were backfilling some of those brood cells with honey. Well, that's encouraging. That's good news. This frame, I'm wondering whether I shouldn't swap it with this one here. As they haven't really drawn any comb on that side there. So Let's start by doing that. Alright, so smoke them a little more, clean off some of this wax, and then I think it's time to put another super on, or another brood box. The smoker does not seem to be doing much here. Alright, I think we're ready for the next hive body. Now, one of the things that I've read about that I'm going to try and do today is a concept called checkerboarding. Now, checkerboarding is where you will take frames from this hive body and bring them up into the next hive body in an effort to try to encourage the bees to move up. You generally want to use frames of brood, as I understand it. So let's see what we can do. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll start with these 3 frames here. And these will be replaced by frames from the next brood box. So I will set these down here. Alright, then I will replace them with these 3 frames here. Now, I don't know if you remember me explaining in any previous visits or any previous videos that my intention is to go treatment free, but I also would like to go foundationless as well and allow the bees to draw out their own comb. However, if you're wanting them to draw out a nice comb on no foundation, it's usually easier when you have other combs next to the frame to give them some guidance. So I'm going to insert this frame in between 2 existing drawn out combs. This frame, as you'll see, I took this is actually an Ace Hardware paint stirrer stick that I split down the middle and just glued into the slot. You can see here, and that gives them the guide to draw their comb on. and we'll see how this works. Then we'll take these frames and we will put them in the next brood box. And I think I'll just put this on top right now. And I'll just slowly rotate it into place. Turn this around purely for cosmetic reasons. I'm going to try to make sure to put this frame in the same slot and in the same orientation as it was in the lower brood box. So bear with me as I fumble through this process here. Now, one of the things I expect with the foundationless frames is for the bees to start drawing out drone comb. Now, drone comb is an important part of the beehive to an extent. It serves a number of purposes. Number one, to produce drones, which are pretty much leeches and parasites on the colony, other than mating with the queen. But the other purpose is that the varroa mite seems to prefer drone comb. And I believe that's largely due to the longer gestational cycle of the drone. Now, some people will cull drone comb from time to time in an effort to remove varroa mites before they actually hatch out or emerge when the bee emerges. And that is one of the strategies used to manage the mite levels in a colony. And I may or may not do that depending on how healthy my bees are later on in the season. I have not yet checked the mite count, but as they become more populous, that may be something we will do a little later on. So let's get some of this wax off of the inner cover, and then we'll get it back on and close up the hive. And I've also heard and read that the bees tend to build more of this bridging comb on plastic frames, which these Manlake PF100s are that I am using. Again, for those that haven't picked up on previous episodes, my intention is to run small cell foundation, which at least in theory creates a smaller bee, and as such the bee does not take as long in its life cycle to mature, and you have a shorter gestational period, which gives the varroa mite less time to multiply and grow inside the cells. At least that's the theory. We'll have to see how much a part that plays in the ability to keep these bees off of treatments. So for those that haven't tuned in on previous episodes, this is just an effort to prop the telescoping cover open just a little bit on the side of the beehive to improve ventilation just a little bit. As the weather gets warmer, there's a concern about the hive overheating, and this gives just a little bit more airflow through the hive and allows the bees to keep the temperature a little more even. While I have a screened bottom board, I'm going to remove this entrance reducer in an effort to, again, improve the ventilation in the hive. I may have to undo the ratchet. Oh, there we go. I'll take this and just place it in there for safekeeping, and that gives the bees just a little bit more place to fly in and out. Well, once again, thank you for joining me, and if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions or constructive criticism, I'm also open to the same. Thanks for watching.